Trainer one coming up.
So Godly is going to be the one who's putting on this.
No way. They're so
Onyx.
going to get destroyed.
Okay.
Wow. I went the wrong mindset for a second. Hold on, actually, it might be great. Seeing Godly on the cannon is going to be really fun. If he could do well with it, I will gladly be wrong about that. But seeing Godly opening up here on the Onyx, this is the support character pick, right? That's what you do. And Neeze is the cross player in this sense, which I think is better. Like if I was going to compare Neeze versus Godly, I think that Neeze has the better cross compared to Godly when it comes to what they're strong at. Anyways, in this game number 1, Godly's open up and taking a ton of damage here. And Raydish on the Tesca with MegD on the Chun-Li, which is what you said that he's been playing.
Yep.
And it's all coming back to me.
Cannon toss, saving Neeze there. Oh, and the disco to follow up for that extra damage.
Okay.
And Sig, all right, red team not getting destroyed per Taz's
No, in
prediction.
fact, they're actually doing very, very well, and that was off of 2 alley-oops off the same setup, right? And they used that downtime to get even better hits there. But it is the first stock, and MegD and Raydish clean up right afterwards, right? And that's what you want to look for in these scenarios. When you go down and your team gets swept off the board, do they sweep right back and they go back to an even game? And Radish and MegD absolutely have the chops to be able to do that.
Okay.
The
set up
DI.
their double end light, so yeah, he's going to DI up and out of that one.
Yeah, that's it's always fun to see whether they will do it or not. Like, because sometimes players just have their hands off the keyboard where they're getting comboed, and you're like, wait a second, after the 4th gauntlet end light, you just gotta like tap up.
Ooh.
The dunk, okay, sends him off the right side of the stage.
Nice
Weapon
weapon
throw
toss.
covers his head. Raydish goes for a down air, but doesn't fast fall. The down tick ends up hitting both his teammate and his opponent, but Neeze doesn't go off the top. Pogo's Nasair doesn't hit either. But so far, really close game.
The end sig comes out from Godly. Recovery attempted from MegD. Wants to clean up the stock count. Side sig and Godly not able to interrupt. Downlight side air, and suddenly the blue team with the lead.
Yeah, Radish and MegD bringing this back, albeit barely. MegD could go down to a gauntlet recovery, unarmed recovery, not enough to do it there, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it was. That will take him down, and Radish has to avoid getting hit by the setup. You see Godly going to the other side, trying to dare him in. There's one, gets the downer as well. MegD trying to interrupt, and actually just gets hit by the recovery from Neeze himself. So, blue team taking a ton of damage there, trying to stop that team combo, but their own coming through. D-like ground pound, no, down thing afterwards. That was so close to being a really sick combo, though.
Yeah, I mean, they had to improv that with the unarmed coming out from MegD as he had just respawned. Still able to put out a decent amount of damage here. Eyes are on Radish, though, as the most damaged person on the screen. Left side, MegD gets in, gets that neutral light target swap over to Godly.
Oh, and MegD putting out the down lights. Holds it down, see Godly not falling for it. Sends him off the left side of the stage. Godly waiting for that landing of the recovery here. Neeze gets a down sig, slides forward. Radish goes off the right side of the stage. MegD now in a 1v2, and the down sig after the nair means Godly and Neeze take game number 1. And I am so pleasantly surprised, Duke. I really didn't see that kind of performance coming out from both of them, but they took a chapter out of NA's book and they said, okay, what's winning in this region? It's cross Onyx, okay. Chronix, as Sparky likes to say. I'm never going to get used to it. But I'll say it anyways.
The good old Chronix, and you know what? It's working very well for them.
It is.
We were coming into this and we were like, man, I don't know who's going to do what, how well it's going to work, but really, it's looking solid. You're not seeing Neeze going too insane off stage, and you're seeing Godly actually doing a really good job of playing that support role. You saw those weapon tosses to save Neeze. You saw the setups and the follow-ups off of all these hits. Even there, right? Neeze hits a neutral light. He immediately comes over, hits the side air. Godly and Neeze are looking like a very established 2v2 team already.
Yeah, and they're not messing around when it comes to the setups to be able to get these knockouts. When they are in a 2v1 scenario or they have somebody off stage and they're recovering, they're going right over to what's the fastest way to take my opponent's stock. We're seeing these really quick 2 or 3 hits into a neutral sig or to like the cross down sig to be able to get those stocks super early on. And now that MegD and Raydish have had a taste of the pressure, I want to see if they're able to do anything about it. The neutral light and the weapon throw. Can he make it back? He can. Recovery comes through, and Neeze and Godly take 2 quick stocks right at the very beginning. And Duke, this might just be...
So many words that you could say, and yet just tragedies are abound right now as blue team just falling apart. MegD already getting into the red. Side sig comes out, finally going to take down the stock of Neeze ground pound. Puts Godly down, but still MegD has taken a lot of damage already.
Yeah, MegD and Radish clawing to be able to get the lead back in their favor here, and they really are fighting against a ton of pressure from Neeze and Godly because I do not feel them feel phased at all from losing those stocks. Radish winning a lot against Godly in the 1v1 on the boots. That's 3 times now that he sent Godly back off stage. And MegD's holding his own against Neeze. At this point, he just doesn't have to lose the stock. But now that Godly and Neeze are back together again, I fear that these stocks could fly off of one good nair from either of the Gauntlet players.
Neeze trying to rotate over there, trying to get a hit out. Raydish, offstage opportunity. Godly's behind him, and Raydish just target swaps, sets up for a down sig, but was that a dare? Second dare.
Raydish is crazy because he used the active input on the boot Sair, which isn't the most damaging or the highest knockback, to get out of the way of Godly following up, to be able to get that knockout there. That was so incredible. The side comes through, gets the friendly fire on Raydish, and the recovery from Godly means they even it up, and it's a dead even game once again, dude.
I mean, that was impressive plays coming out from the blue team to bring this one back. Raydish's boots, in particular, really popped off by keeping the red team split and getting that damage put out onto Godly.
Yeah, he like won 4 interactions against Godly alone, and that really brought it back, for sure. The boots are carrying, and whenever they can get Neeze and Godly separated, it's actually working out huge in their favor. Recovery comes through, and Raydish tries to get the nair on the fall down there. Great team combo opportunity on both of the red team opponents here. Still really close game. Nice save coming up from MegD, but he gets caught. The neutral sig hits, and now red team takes the lead right back.
Weapon toss from Raydish, trying to get the interrupt. Both blue team members off stage. MegD's sweating. Save attempt, but he can't get it. It's all left to Raydish. Wall touch opportunity here, and it's the recovery from Neeze.
Okay, the recovery from Neeze ends that second game there. And I still feel like this set could go to distance, right? These games have been so close. I feel like each game, Radish and MegD are looking at this and being like, oh my god, why is the pressure so high here? I'm realizing the strength that Godly and Neeze now have, and this is why I was looking forward to seeing them, is that even though Godly's on the Onyx, and he is playing that role for Neeze, it's still Godly on Gauntlets, right? It doesn't matter how defensive stat line your character is, he's still going to be doing amazing. Radish is doing his best to keep him at bay with the boots, but Neeze is just an unstoppable force of nature here in game number 3. So let's see how this plays out. So far, blue team tends to take a huge beating, brings it back, and then barely loses the game. And that's what we've seen twice in a row. If that happens again, I think it's just a 3-0 for Neeze and Godly.
I really wish we were getting last stock blue team on their first stocks. If we can get that from them, then I think they can start to bring out the pressure. They're getting a lot of damage put out on the Neeze already, though.
Radish just thrown like 3 N6s in a row now. Neeze going off the top there super early on in the game, which is good. This is what you said you were hoping for. And we're getting that last stock performance at the beginning of game number 3.
Oh!
Huge dare off that down tick as well. Oh, and he gets the down tick on his own as he tries to dodge back to the stage, and now it's 6 stocks to 4. Radish and MegD with the first lead of the set.
Can they maintain it, though? Neeze comes in, gets the side light into second side light, into the recovery. Team combo. Godly dashes into the end sig, and unfortunately, MegD able to get away from it.
Nice save there. Tries to go for the neutral signature. Another one. Wow. Radish is just signature happy right now. He's going to go crazy on the Tesca 6. It's like a light attack and a signature every other move. And it's working. He's hitting so many of them against his opponents, and this adaptation could be what exactly they need to bring into a game 4. Sidelight and recovery ends up hitting his teammate.
Side sig comes out. Neeze is going to get thrown off the left side. Godly off stage.
Weapon throw.
Challenging the spear. The weapon throw up. Going to keep him up, but Raydish rotates over it. Down light side air.
Dude, Radish on the Tesca is like popping off this game. What is happening? And then MegD just cannot be knocked out. Godly and Neeze are looking at this, and it's kind of like, I feel like they're like in a cooldown period, right? Like they were just bursting through games number 1 and 2, and now is all their energy gone? Is that what I'm seeing here? Because Radish and MegD was warmed up.
Oh, the down sig, though, will connect. Puts Radish onto his final stock. MegD finally losing his first stock. But there's a world here where the red team takes out Radish and team combos to victory.
It is definitely a weird game state. Radish has to be careful. He's been playing mostly as the aggressor here, the bruiser in this matchup, but now MegD's got to switch those positions. You can see them trying to do that, right? MegD's standing in front of them with the spear, putting up nairs, boxing it out until Radish can get a weapon. Weapon comes through, does pick up the gauntlets, and I think they're going to continue with this front-to-back playstyle here, where Radish is just going to try to get these grabs, use these side signatures to get some extra damage, maybe get an early knockout, because they don't want to give up this game 3 and go into the elimination bracket this early on in the bracket.
And MegD really trying to be that front liner there. But he's having a little bit of a hard time getting too much damage out there. You've seen him get a tap here and there, like a down like in that side air as well.
It's interesting now that you say that, because I'm thinking that they're having trouble getting damage, and because MegD's the one taking the lead in the aggression here. But that's just what they have to do. Recovery comes through, and now they can go back to playing how they would like to play. And Godly sweating goes off the right side of the stage. That was an incredible game 3 from Radish. Oh, I wanted to see the damage so bad. It was
too
so
bad,
close.
Taza. No damage value.
There was like a frame where I could have seen it, but I just wasn't ready.
Well,
you know,
we weren't expecting it. But man, those team combos, it's so fascinating to me. So that's twice now where Radish has launched to MegD for the down sig and he goes for a dare afterwards. And I'm not I don't know the force values well enough to know if that's optimal versus ground pound.
Boots Dare sends at a good angle of knockback. The only thing that it's not optimal about is the amount of damage that it does. I think Boots Dare does less damage than Unarmed Dare. Like, it's a really low damaging move. But the angle that you send people at when you know that your opponent's not going to get knocked out, it's probably good for, like, if you're not certain. Because Sarah is so precise. With down air, you just cover, like, an entire diagonal. I wonder if ground pound's just too slow. That's a good point, though. Ground pound could be nicer. It has some startup, though. Dare is, like, pretty instant.
Yeah, I'm just very curious.
You have to ask him. Because clearly it's just a setup. Yeah. We've seen it, like, 3 times. We're in game number 4 now, with Raydish and MegD bringing it away from the 3-0 for Godly and Neeze. And Godly and Neeze look a little lost in that last game. Let's see if that happens again here in game number 4. Raydish, if there's one thing that I picked up from this game, is that Godly is super uncomfortable against Boots. Like, if Raydish gets Godly alone, he is just getting kicked around until he can finally get Neeze to help him out. And that might be something that MegD and Raydish use to their favor, because MegD is very good at icing opponents out when he needs to.
But on the other side, Godly and Neeze maybe starting to recognize like how to play against MegD's approaches. And once again, MegD kind of being a little bit more forward as Neeze just ignores him, goes in side 6 Raydish off the left side of the map.
Yeah.
Side air follow up.
MegD going down here early on as well does not bode well for the blue team. We saw what happened in game number 1 and number 2. And if they don't equalize right away, they don't just sweep these stocks. I worry that this is going to be a 3-1 and NA is completely out of the winner's side. Look at this team combo, gets the recovery. That's Radish off the top. MegD trying to do something to equalize that here, but Godly and Neeze have yet to go down a stock in game number 4 here. Finally shut down. MegD goes for that weapon throw, doesn't get the ground pound though, ends up hitting on the stage, and Godly's still holding on.
Man, this is looking real good for the red team as Godly trying to get back up. The down air will finally finish off that first
The force is pretty good.
But
I'm actually was surprised. I did not think that would knock out from being knocked into the wall.
Yeah.
Boots Dare is just definitely a move that I'm not too used to just casting. But here we go. D-Lane recovery. That's going to be MegD's second stock. It's now a stock apiece. It might just be one stock apiece. Radish just get clobbered by Godly. And Duke, I stand so corrected on the Godly Onyx lock-in, right? I saw that at the very beginning. It was like my lizard brain just announced that they were going to get destroyed.
You literally saw him walk in. You're like, they're going to get destroyed. I mean, and it's 3-1
That's like me backstage. That's not commentary.
Okay.
I accidentally was just having too much fun. I had to wait and see what would happen. And I do remember saying that I wanted to see what Godly and Neeze had prepared. And this is just the opposite of what I was expecting to see. But they do it so well. It complements each other so well here. And it makes sense when I think about it, right? It's just the cannon from Godly I wasn't expecting too much from, but it's been mostly gauntlets and it's fine. MegD did take a stock during this moment here. They're just looking for the setup here to be able to get that
recovery.
Yeah, but that's going to be the recovery. And Godly and Neeze handily take down Radish and MegD, and now there's not a single non-European team in top 8. I think.
Wow.
Let me
top side of top 8 at the very least.
I mean, we might have.
Yeah, I haven't seen the bottom side of the bracket, but
it's Acno Blaze, Blue Crestu on one side, and it's S Great Machete versus Godly and Neeze on the other.